Dennis moved through the hollow run system with the easy rhythm of a man who had spent 14 years mapping its stone veins. But when his headlamp swept the side passage, every familiar landmark in his memory screamed that something was wrong.
That wall was blank. I shot it in October. It was nothing but limestone.
The figures were in postures he didn't recognize from any prehistoric tradition. The pigment looked fresh, as if it had been applied hours ago.
No one else has been down here. No footprints, no equipment marks, just my own tracks from October.
He checked the muddy floor, the ceiling, the seams of rock. The cave showed no sign of intrusion, only the paintings, impossible and silent.
Coordinates match. This is the wall I mapped 6 months ago.
He pressed his glove to the limestone where the painting spread, half expecting his fingers to come away stained. They came away clean.
It wasn't here. This wall was blank. I have the survey log. I have the photographs.
Dennis forced himself to photograph every inch from every angle, as if the evidence might fade the moment he looked away.
I need to get out of here. Compare the photos. Find the mistake.
Dennis had first lowered himself into the hollow run system 14 years earlier, a young caver with a survey compass and a need to chart the uncharted. He had built a reputation for precision, every wall photographed, every log entry written as if it would be read in court.
October 6th. I remember the humidity that day. The wall was featureless, just gray limestone, nothing else.
He and his team shot that passage from 3 stations, logged coordinates, and photographed every inch. The October photos showed clean limestone, unmarked, except for natural mineral stains.
I didn't misunderstand the location. I didn't mislabel the file. That wall was empty.
Dennis trusted his gear and his eye had told him that wall was blank.
So what changed? How do paintings appear where there were none, with no trace of anyone coming or going?
The question followed him as he shot the last photograph and began the long ascent, the cave walls closing in like a throat.
Get to the surface. Put the 2 photos side by side. There has to be an explanation.
Dennis sat at his survey office desk, the October and March photographs laid before him under the harsh desk lamp. The wall texture was identical. Same crack, same mineral stain, but one bore figures, the other did not.
If this were graffiti, we'd see tool marks or spray residue. There's nothing like that. The floor still held only my tracks from October. No one else has been that deep. The passage is too remote. The pigment wasn't scratched into the rock. It was like it had bloomed from the limestone itself.
He zoomed into the digital images, hunting for any pixel that might reveal a trick of light or a hoax.
The coordinates match exactly. There's no way I could have made an error twice. I remember that wall was blank. I am not imagining it. It was blank.
The conclusion was wrapping around Dennis like cold air from a deep shaft. No human could have done this.
So what did? Something put those figures there, and no human could have reached that passage.
He checked the date stamps on both files. The October metadata lined up perfectly with the team's digital log.
The time of day, the camera model, the exposure settings, all consistent. No one edited these.
He overlaid the images digitally, aligning them by the natural crack that ran diagonally behind where the figures now stood.
The wall geometry was identical. Same dip, same outcrop, same microfractures. Everything but the paintings.
He cross-referenced the survey notes for that day. Station DR-14, shot 3B, bearing 287 degrees. Every digit matched.
I didn't misremember. I didn't mislabel. This is not a mistake. The cave changed.
Dennis leaned back, the desk lamp the only witness. The air in the office felt heavier, as if the cave itself had followed him home.
No human could have done this. So what does that leave? What else is down there?
He stared at the 2 photographs, until the edges blurred, searching for a flaw that would make the impossible ordinary again.
I have to tell someone. But who would believe this? Who wouldn't think I've lost my mind?
He pulled the leather-bound field log from the drawer and flipped to the October pages. The entry for station DR-14 was brief. Wall featureless, limestone standard, no features recorded.
Exactly as I remembered. Not a word about paintings.
He picked up his phone and scrolled to Leo's contact. His finger hesitated, then pressed call.
Leo, it's Dennis. Quick question. The Hollow Run trip last October. You remember that blank wall at DR-14? Yeah, totally blank. Nothing but limestone. Okay, I just wanted to verify. No, nothing's wrong. Thanks.
He set the phone down, the casual confirmation hanging heavier than any argument.
Leo remembers it blank too, so it wasn't just me. The wall changed.
He opened the society directory on his laptop and found the number for Marshall Hayes, the regional director.
I can't keep this to myself. Marshall will listen. He's been doing this longer than anyone.
He dialed the society office and asked for Marshall Hayes. The line clicked open.
Marshall, it's Dennis. I found something in Hollow Run that doesn't make sense. I need to show you in person.
I understand. Come by the office tomorrow morning. We'll discuss it then.
Marshall's voice had been level, unhurried. No pause to consider. No surprise.
He didn't even ask what I saw. He's been expecting this.
Dennis slid the photographs into a manila envelope and grabbed his keys. The drive to the regional office stretched an hour, the October and March images replaying in his mind like a loop.
What if they already know? What if this has happened before?
The society building was a modest stone structure, a steel door set into the limestone wall. Dennis parked and sat for a moment.
Let's see what you've been keeping, Marshall.
Dennis pushed open the steel door and stepped into the society office. Filing cabinets lined one wall, survey maps papered the other.
Dennis, you sounded troubled on the phone. Please sit. Show me what you found.
Dennis took the envelope from his jacket and laid the two photographs side by side on the wooden table.
This is station DR-14. October, blank wall. March, cave paintings. Same coordinates, same texture. No human could have done this.
Marshall leaned forward, his expression unchanged. He traced a finger over the crack in the limestone that appeared in both images.
He's not even surprised. He was waiting for this.
We were wondering when you'd find them, Dennis.
The words hung in the air. Dennis felt the floor of his understanding crack.
They've known all along. There's a history here.
The quiet office suddenly felt like a sealed vault. Dennis stared at Marshall, waiting for the rest. Marshall rose and opened a filing cabinet. He pulled out a thick folder marked Hollow Run System, 1920 to 1950.
This isn't the first time, Dennis. It won't be the last.
The photograph was dated 1923. It showed the same wall, but with different figures, more angular, more distant.
9 fakes on Quadricefton. 9 section Wien 71.
Each image showed a different set of paintings. The wall itself was unmistakably the same.
New paintings appear, then vanish on a cycle no one has predicted. The society records them and keeps quiet.
Vanish? This has happened repeatedly, and they've just cataloged it like a weather report.
The Hollow Run system has more undocumented cave art than any other cave in North America, and none of it has ever been published.
The weight of a century's secrets pressed down on Dennis, as if the limestone ceiling itself had lowered.
Some of the older surveyors developed a habit. They would leave small carved tokens at junctions, pieces of wood, shaped figures.
He slid an old diary across the table, opened to a page from the 1930s. The handwritten words were faded but legible, left a carved oak leaf at the junction. When I returned, the paintings had changed. A figure held a leaf.
An exchange. cave responds.
I am telling you this so you understand the scope, but don't become obsessed. Record what you see and keep moving.
Marshall's tone carried a weight that suggested experience. He had watched other surveyors sink into this.
And Dennis, the paintings you saw? They might not be there the next time you descend.
Why? Has anyone ever figured out what causes it?
Number. And we've stopped asking. Some answers aren't published. They're just carried.
Dennis left the office carrying more than his envelope. The silence of the cave had followed him into the daylight. At his desk, Dennis reread the copied diary pages. The ink from the 1930s described a carver who left a leaf and later found a leaf in the paintings.
An exchange. The cave gave back a leaf. What would it give back if I left something of my own?
He found a block of old walnut in a drawer, left over from his grandfather's carving set. It had been untouched for 20 years. He began carving, the blade finding the shape of a small bird, its wings tucked tight.
A bird. My grandfather used to call me Little Bird. This isn't random. It means something.
He packed his caving duffel, ropes, harness, camera, survey gear, and last, the wooden bird, wrapped in a clean rag.
This is the line between recording and participating. I am stepping over it.
The drive to the Hollow Run entrance took him through the final light of dusk, the hills turning dark against the sky.
The paintings might already be gone, or the wall might have something new. I won't know until I am there. All right then. Let's see what you do with this.
Dennis stepped out of the truck at the Hollow Run entrance. His headlamps cut into the black maw, but the darkness seemed to push back.
It's never felt like this. The entrance is watching me.
He rigged the rope and lowered himself into the shaft. The rope vibrated under his gloves, a low hum he had never noticed before.
The rock feels alive. Every sound is sharper. I am not alone.
The familiar crawl toward the side passage felt tighter, the air thicker. His breath fogged the headlamp beam.
That drip, like footsteps. Just water. But I've never heard it this loud before.
The headlamp seemed to dim, as if the cave was eating the light. He had to force himself forward. He reached the junction, his compass trembling in his hand. The coordinates matched. This was the place.
The wall is around that corner. Everything changes after this.
Dennis stood at the threshold, the wooden bird pressing against his thigh. Then he stepped forward, and the headlamp swept into the darkness. He stopped at the junction, his hand sliding into the pocket that held the wooden bird. It felt warm, alive.
This is the moment. After this, I can't pretend I am just a surveyor.
He placed the carved bird on a flat limestone outcrop, his glove trembling. The headlamp made the tiny wings seem to flutter.
I am just observing, nothing more.
He straightened slowly, heart hammering. The silence of the cave pressed in, heavy as limestone.
Whatever is on that wall, I can't unsee it. But I can't leave without knowing.
He walked forward, each boot step echoing in the still air. The corner loomed.
The wall is just out of sight. The paintings or the blankness waits.
He rounded the corner, and the headlamp swept toward the wall. The beam climbed the limestone, still caught in shadow, the moment stretching.
Show me what you've got.
The headlamp beam struck the wall, and Dennis's breath stopped. The limestone was bare, featureless, cold.
Blank. It's blank. The paintings are gone.
He swept the beam across every inch, hunting for color. Nothing. No figures. No trace of pigment.
Not a scratch. Not a single speck. It's like they were never here.
He pressed his glove flat against the stone, where the largest figure had loomed. The rock was cold, unmarked.
I have the March photos. I have proof. But the wall is empty.
He raised the camera, the flash firing and bleaching the blank limestone white. The silence swallowed the shutter click.
Same coordinates, same crack, different reality.
He turned the camera screen toward himself. The March image glowed in the corner, painted. Now the wall was blank.
It's gone. All of it. As if it never existed.
He dropped to his knees, scanning the muddy floor for even a flake of rust-red pigment. There was nothing.
The ceiling, clean. No scrapes, no transfer. It's like the limestone swallowed the art whole. My own tracks from minutes ago are the only disturbance. No other prints. No dust settled differently.
He pressed his palm flat against the blank limestone, as if he could feel where the figures had stood. The rock was silent.
It's alive. The cave is alive. And I am not just a surveyor anymore. I am part of whatever it's doing.
He raised the camera for the last shot, the flash burning the blank wall into his memory one final time. He forced himself up and began the ascent, the rope humming under his weight, as if the cave was seeing him off.
I'll bring more tokens next time. I'll learn the rhythm. I'll map whatever it shows me.
He emerged into the gray dawn, the limestone mouth yawning behind him. The world above ground had not changed. He had.
The wall is blank today. Next week, it might hold something from my own hand. The cave remembers.
He printed the April photograph and laid it beside October and March. 3 moments. One wall. October blank. March painted. April blank again. Same coordinates, same crack.
It's not a mistake. The wall changes, and I just record it.
He wrote in the log, wall returned to blank state, the 15th of April. Cause unknown, he photographed the 3 prints together for the society file.
Record and move on, Marshall said. But I can't stop thinking about the next descent.
He stared at the blank April image until his eyes burned. Somewhere in that stone was a presence that could paint with no hand. He opened a drawer. Inside was his logbook, its pages now filled with sketches of tokens and notes.
I've already started. I can't pretend otherwise.
He closed the drawer and began sketching the next token, a tiny fish. Over the following weeks, Dennis descended 4 more times, leaving tokens at every junction. Each time, the walls stayed blank.
The cave watches. Not hostile, patient, like it's waiting for something from me.
On the 5th survey, he forced himself into an unmapped side passage, a seam he'd noted years earlier, but never entered.
Something pulls me forward. I knew there was a wall ahead before my light touched it.
His headlamp hit a wall he'd never surveyed, and there it was, fresh rust-red pigment, a single figure.
A figure holding a small bird. My bird. It's not coincidence. The cave is answering.
He raised the camera with trembling hands, the flash freezing the impossible image into memory.
Thank you.
He left an extra token, a second bird, beside the first, then began the ascent, the rope humming with something like approval.
This is the exchange. The cave gives back. I keep leaving. It keeps painting.
When he returned to the passage where the bird painting had glowed, the wall was featureless limestone again. No figure, no bird, no trace.
He nodded slowly, not surprised. The paintings come and go. That is simply how it works.
He laid a gloved hand on the blank stone, then moved on without reaching for his camera. At the next junction, he unwrapped a tiny carved fish and set it beside the bird token he had left before. His logbook pages were thick with entries. Left fish at J15, wall blank. Left bird at J12, wall painted.
The cave was teaching him patience. A conversation with no words, only offerings and silent walls.
He walked deeper, leaving tokens like breadcrumbs in a dark cathedral. Each one a note in a song he was only beginning to hear.
I don't need to understand the source. I need to keep showing up.
The limestone seemed to lean closer, not menacing, but attentive.
I am part of this exchange now. Surveyor and surveyed, giver and given to.
For months, his logbook filled with entries like left fish at J15, returned blank, and new painting at J22. Figure with bird. The pattern was undeniable. He carved tokens in the evenings, the knife blade finding shapes that felt less like creations and more like memories. One afternoon, Marshall Hayes appeared at his office door, his gaze falling on the row of carved figures lined up beside the survey photos.
You are in deep, Dennis.
Aren't we all?
Marshall didn't argue. He picked up a small wooden fish, turned it over in his palm, and set it back with a quiet nod. Dennis was already packing for his next descent, a week-long solo trip into the lower galleries, deeper than he'd ever gone.
I won't be the same when I come back. The cave is calling me to a place I've never been.
He drove to Hollow Run at dawn, the radio off, the truck cab silent, except for the rattle of tokens in the bag beside him. At the entrance, he switched on both headlamps, the twin beam swallowed instantly by the dark. He stepped forward without a backward glance. The rope slipped through his descender with a song he now knew by heart. The cave walls no longer closed in. They opened around him.
The silence is not empty. It's full of waiting. The cave listens.
At the first junction, he unwrapped a wooden fish and set it on a ledge without ceremony. The gesture was as natural as breathing.
Once, I would have searched for a reason. Now, I understand that not everything needs one.
He moved deeper than any survey had taken him, mapping by feel as much as by compass. The compass needle drifted lazily.
I am not exploring this cave. I am being shown it.
He left a trail of tokens like a quiet conversation. A bird, a fish, a leaf, a star. Each one a word, each junction a line of dialogue.
The older surveyors knew. They left pieces of themselves, and the cave answered.
The limestone breathed around him, a slow exhale of millennia. He was a passenger now.
Home.
He squeezed through a fissure into an unmapped junction and set a carved star on the rock without hesitation. The passage opened into a chamber where the air felt heavier and his compass needle steadied. Ahead, a wall bore a pale rust-red smudge, as if the stone was dreaming a painting into being.
Not finished. The pigment looks wet. I've never witnessed a painting being born. I'll record it. Then I'll leave a token for whatever is still painting.
The camera flash lit the unfinished figures, a story still writing itself on the limestone. He left a carved fish beside the star, then moved into passages that had never seen light. Behind him, the junction held a small museum of tokens: bird, fish, star, leaf, each a note in a secret song. The cave exhaled around him. He was no longer a visitor. He was a syllable in its slow breath.
I don't need to see what it will show next. I'll be here for it.
His logbook became a quiet chronicle. Left bird at J12, wall blank. The 8th September, each entry a stone in an unseen cairn. His office shelves filled with photographs and carvings, a library of the impossible. Each image proof that the cave kept no permanent record. He stopped checking for the paintings. They came and went like weather, and he no longer needed to see them to know they were real.
I don't know if the offerings help, but I don't stop. The leaving is enough.
The Society's files on Hollow Run grew heavier each season. Marshall added Dennis's photographs to the drawer with the same calm nod. The cave was not a problem to be solved. It was a conversation with no end, and Dennis had become a quiet speaker.
I'll keep mapping. I'll keep leaving tokens, and the cave will keep showing me what it wants seen.
Outside, the Hollow Run entrance swallowed the light. Inside, the limestone waited, patient as stone. Dennis became the keeper of a museum that erased itself. His photographs the only witnesses, his tokens the only offering.
I have stopped checking. I just continue.
The walls cycled between blank and painted, a silent rhythm no one could predict. Dennis kept leaving tokens: bird, fish, star, each one a quiet yes. His headlamp would catch fresh pigment on limestone never touched by a human hand, figures holding the shapes he had offered. The compass needle steadied in his palm. The survey was secondary now. He moved by feel, by memory of the unseen. He entered the hollow run system as he had for 14 years, but now he came not to map, but to listen. At a dozen junctions, small wooden witnesses marked where he had knelt. His face held no fear, only the patience of stone. He was no longer a visitor. The mystery did not demand an answer. The offerings did not require a reply. He had stopped checking. He simply continued, and beneath the stone, the paintings waited.